for Collective Soul start at $39 and are on sale now at the box office and online at etix.com. Collective Soul and Hinder. Friday, November 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Hey, it's Anthony Bellino from Spin on Sports, Michigan's Sports Dog Morning Show on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 right here on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY. Whether it's Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Lions, Michigan State, the Big Ten, the Mid-American Conference, all the headlines, all the stories, and always Michigan teams first. It's all right here on Spin on Sports, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard locally on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY.
It's time for the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show on Up North Sports Radio with your host, Rich Calkins.
The Scoreboard Show brought to you by Sarah Ford in Kalkaska and Gaylord. Start your stress-free car shopping experience at Sarah Ford Kalkaska and sarahfordgaylord.com. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you this morning. And unbelievable, JC, but we have just finished up week 7 of the high school sports.
What?
Yes.
What?
Where did it go?
We do this every year.
We do, absolutely. But again, still, it's still shocking to the system how quickly it flies by.
Yeah, especially, 9 games. That's what you're guaranteed.
Right.
And all the work that goes into it, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the camaraderie. There's not a high school football coach or player that doesn't say the same thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because, again, so much of it, too, is it starts like in the heat of the summer.
Yeah.
And you're going through all this stuff, and you're thinking, oh, my gosh, all those preseason workouts and all of that.
We're still in summer. What are you talking about?
Right, and then the sun's still out. But every once in a while, you get some cold fronts coming in, and you get cold weather, and it's just the change of the seasons. And it's just the more things change, the more they stay the same.
No doubt about it. But you had a very important win yesterday at Thurlby Field.
No question, JC, because, again, West needed a win in the worst way. A 4-2 Mount Pleasant team came into town and riding high on a 3-game win streak, and West took it to them. And
good for them.
Good for them. Yeah, the big-time players from West really stood out last night, and that's what they needed from their leadership, their captains. And Brady Vaughn back on the field last night. So that was a good sign as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, the state is off this week, so that's not a surprise.
Yeah, so it just great to see him back. And, of course, we do have Coach Wagner with his post-game thoughts on that big win against Mount Pleasant. As forever in the memory books and all the history books, Coach, a 30-13 win on homecoming 2024.
Yeah, what a night for the Titans here, and just an outstanding job by these kids. I'm so proud of them. I mean, just been through a little bit of the ringer here in the last 3 weeks, and for them, I mean, it could have been so easy for them to check out after a 0-3 skid, and
right.
For them to be able to, I just continued to challenge them to stay locked in, stay focused. There's things that we needed to fix, and we just needed to practice a little bit harder and just be disciplined on some things and practice. And I just know we're a dangerous team when we do the things that we're supposed to do. And tonight, we did a lot of it. So that was really, really cool. So proud of this team. Man, what a win for us. It was awesome.
It was, Coach. Running the ball tonight. He did a great job unofficially, 252 yards rushing as a team.
Nice.
Owen Hendricks, 125 yards, 3 TDs.
Yeah.
Just numerous kids. And as a team, early in the first half, you guys were trading scores back and forth.
Yep.
And then you do the magical thing that you always love to do as a coach. You score late in the first half, and you're receiving the opening kickoff in the second.
Yeah, so in practice this week, we talked a lot about the dip and the lull within the games and how big the middle part of the game is. And, and even our practices, we would start our practices, really strong, and then we'd have this dip in the middle of practice, and we had these good finishes to the practices. But it was like hey, this is our problem right here. We need to be able to centerize around the middle parts of practice and be able to accelerate through this. And, for us to be able to score at the end of the first half there like we did and then get the ball back and go down and score, I mean, that was an exact – and we brought it up in the locker room at halftime. That's exactly what we were trying to do, and the kids were able to go out and execute. And, man, my hat's off to them. They played their hearts out tonight.
Yeah, and then you just totally took over in that second half. That just was total control of holding down a good Mount Pleasant team.
Yeah. I think our low line, really stepped up tonight. Our blocking was really, really sound. Owen did a great job of running the offense tonight. I mean, he's just such a savvy player. I mean, he makes plays. He knows how to do reads very well. I mean, he's got quick feet. He can deliver the ball when he needs to in the passing game, but he's a dangerous dual threat kid. And he, I'm just so proud of him. He's been so focused and so wanting that, obviously to right the ship here in the right direction. And he's just he's been humble and has always put in the work that he's needed to do. Even last week, he was on and we just were unable to make plays when we needed to. And, I just told him, hey, continue to work, continue to, do your part. And he was able to do that. And, man, a lot of kids stepped up tonight, and we were able to execute on a lot of different fronts. So, man, I was just so happy for these kids on a homecoming night for us to be able to get a win.
Yeah, Coach, again, to shut them out in that second half, hold them to 13 points, that's a great thing. Kids that kind of just right offhand that stood out. Jackson Gallagher continues to get tackles for loss. Cameron Mink and Carson Toothman and just guys like that. And it's just, unbelievable, the different group of kids that just keep getting it done. And it was really cool. Coach, you kept the secret from us. It was great to see Brady Vaughn out there tonight as well.
Now. Yeah, I had to keep that one a little bit secret because I know McIntyre's out there watching somewhere to get some inside information. But yeah, Brady Vaughn, man, that guy makes a huge difference within our team as a leader, as a kid that just a presence and just when he's in the game, he makes our line better. He makes our offense and defense better. I mean, he is just an excellent player, an excellent young man. I couldn't be more happier for Brady. We didn't know when we were going to get him back. We thought we might get him back for the Patriot game, but he just continued to work on getting strength in his knee, and he came back sooner than we thought, and he was healthy all the way through. And gosh, it was just awesome to see out there in pads and competing with his buddies. And that's what it's all about, So it was really, really awesome for him. And again, just awesome for him to be able to celebrate a win tonight. So
yeah, and that's what you get from a all-state wrestler as well.
Yeah.
You got those guys are disciplined. They they work hard and they're able to block out that pain mechanism and just move on for sure. Coach, again, so many different candidates tonight that we could do for our Fox Motors Motivated Player of the Game. But Drew Esper, incredible job by him tonight. The junior has been starting since his sophomore year last year. Was all Saginaw Valley, and tonight really stepped up. Here's was an 87, almost 90-yard kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Really jump-started that team.
Yeah, and it was a jump start. We had given up a score, and we needed a response. And Drew kind of had an off week last week, and we had a conversation, and just like, hey man, you got to be able to respond this week. Like, you are an excellent player. You know that. I know that. Like, just do your thing and continue to fight for what you're wanting. And man, once he got the ball in his hands, he took it. I mean, that was the play on the kickoff return there that I was like, man, just let it go out. And then he grabbed it, and it's like, well, Drew's got the ball. You do Drew things.
Never a bad thing.
It's never a bad thing. So yeah, he's well deserving. I mean, he is an anchor of our team and just a guy that just makes plays whenever the ball's in his hand or when he's on defense. So just an outstanding game for Drew, and super proud of him to be able to respond from last week.
And it really stood out to us up here. He's running so fast, but yet he doesn't look like he's moving fast. Yeah. But you see him churning up and running next to them by guys. It's so deceptively fast.
Yeah. He's a glider. He's got deceptive speed, but he's smart when he's running, and that helps him with his speed too. Like, he knows how to set up blocks. He knows when to turn on the jets, when to slow down. Like, it's not always one speed with him.
Yes.
He just knows how to accelerate at the right times, and that's what makes him great. He just understands the game. So, yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome to have on the team. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, great game by him. Now, Coach, you get to choose, of course, the Jimmy John's Player of the Game.
Yeah. I'd have to say Cam Mink had a great night tonight, and him getting his first varsity touchdown excellent job by Cam. Super proud of him, and he's just getting better and better. He's a junior that's can continue to get more and more playing time and on both sides of the ball, and he just runs downhill. I mean, when he gets the ball in his hands, it's physical, and it's a different style of running when it's in his hands. So it's just really cool, and he broke that one. It was kind of on actually a broken play. We had the alignment wrong in our formation, and it ended up working out. And it's one of those plays of like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh wait, it worked out. So,
hey, we'll have to look into that for next week too.
I was like, well, let's run that again. So no, it was awesome. And Cam is he's an excellent young man that's getting better as a football player. So. Yeah, he's well deserved.
And his parents then will get the Jimmy John's Parents of the Week as well. All right. Well, Coach James Wagner, great win. Now next week's get to stay right here at Thurlby Field, and Bay City Western comes to town. Yeah,
Bay City Western, they're going to be big. They like to run the ball. And they're going to be tough. I mean, again, anyone in our league, it's a game that you can win or lose, and we got to get better, fix the mistakes. Going into film tomorrow, but it's a homecoming win for us tonight, and we'll celebrate this one, and we'll start getting ready for them tomorrow during film a little bit. But we'll see what we got. We're healthy, and that's a good thing. And I think this team, when we're able to focus in and do the job that we're being asked to do, I mean, they're a dangerous team. So excited for this team, excited for the next game here, and but again, to recap, just super proud of these guys, and just so blessed to be a Titan tonight. So
no doubt about it, Coach. It was a great game to call as well. Super exciting, lots of action, and great defense as well. It just had all around great game by the Titans.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right,
Thanks,
James
guys.
Wagner, head coach of Traverse City West, after a huge 30-13 homecoming victory. Enjoy homecoming.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be going to a dance or anything. I don't know if I have a date this year or not. My wife is out of town, so
okay, but.
She was watching. Okay,
the halls though, walking the hallways on Monday would be great at school.
Yeah, as always. I mean, it's. I mean, this is awesome, right? So homecoming, it's just such a school-wide thing. We had a great pep assembly today, and it just brings the school together. When football's a huge deal for school. And just being able to win on a night like this and have these guys be able to win in front of a homecoming crowd, it makes the dance so much more fun. It makes the school environment so much more positive. I mean, it's a big deal, and it's a lot of pressure on these kids, but you know what? They're focused in. They understand the job that is being asked of them, and I couldn't be more proud. I mean, just absolutely a great job by my guys tonight.
For sure. Coach, thanks for joining us on the Michigan Trailers Coaches Corner.
Yes, sir.
As always, go Titans.
All right.
They did.
They did it. Yeah, the Titans did.
They went.
They certainly did. Yeah, exactly. So they moved to 2-2 in conference play, 4-3 overall. So that's a good
win out and probably make the playoffs.
Probably, exactly. Yep. West comes to town.
West
Bay City Western.
Right.
Sorry, and then, of course, Traverse City Central to close out in the Patriot game.
Well, they had a big win, and we're going to be talking with Coach Eric Sugars a little later on today.
That's right. So, yeah, they're going to be battling. They're hoping to play their best football at the end of the season. And no matter what, and this, as we know, in rivalries, JC, and everything, that you
don't say it.
Yeah,
don't say it. I
just
don't
say
want to hear
okay.
you. Let's throw out the records.
Yeah, it's been in the last 3 years that we've seen those games, been great battles.
Oh yeah, no, they always play each other tough. I mean, 2 of the last 3 games came down to the last play.
Yeah.
So, but I know that you can hear from Coach Wagner that they're focused on Western. That they'll be ready to play them. That's at Thurlby. They don't have to travel at all. You don't have to travel anymore this year.
That's right.
Until the playoffs.
Yep. So, very true. So, looking forward to that. But when we come back here, JC, we're going to talk to Harrison Beebe.
Yes.
The sports director from 7 and 4 up north live there. So, it'll be good to get caught back up with him. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, presented by Sarah Ford in Kalkaska and Gaylord.
Michigan Trailers near Chum's Corners is having an end of the summer sell down right now. Over $5,000 off of the tremendous selection of trailers in stock and ready to roll. All prices are clearly marked on over 150 units. The best selection of utility trailers plus the best service, parts, and accessories, all at Michigan Trailers on US 31 South across from Menards in Traverse City. Visit in person or online 24/7 at michigantrailers.com. Let's go Titans!
It's the final month for employee pricing on all Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles at Sarah Kalkaska. Everyone can take advantage of more than $13,000 off MSRP on in-stock 2025 Ram 1500s. Heavy-duty Rams are more than $10,000 off. And you'll get more than $8,500 off Jeep Grand Cherokees. The biggest discounts in years at Sarah Kalkaska. This is your last chance to cash in like an employee at your local Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealer, Sarah Kalkaska. They guarantee it.
The Traverse City Record Eagle supports WCMU Public Radio in Traverse City with Total Access Record Eagle subscriptions. Total Access means home delivery of the printed paper, plus on-demand access to local and breaking news and other community publications online or on the app. Find out more at record-eagle.com/subscriptions or call 231-946-2187. That's 231-946-2187. The Traverse City Record Eagle proudly serves 13 counties in northwestern Lower Michigan.
Attention barbecue lovers. Stop by the Iron Pig Smokehouse in downtown Gaylord. We're open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. for lunch and dinner and serving breakfast Friday through Monday at 9 a.m. No reservations needed and large parties are always welcome. Try our new catering on the fly and order everything from pounds of meat to build your own buffets 48 hours in advance. Visit ironpigsmoke.com for more details and come see us just off I-75 exit 282 in downtown Gaylord.
Take the long day around October 24th for World Polio Day. Hi, this is Grayling Rotarian Justin Andre. Grayling Rotarians will take a 600-mile motorcycle ride around the tip of the mitt to raise awareness and donations to end polio worldwide. Follow the long day around ride on social media and get updates at Q100 Michigan October 24th. Get ride details, donate, and share our fundraising link right from the UpNorthSportsRadio.com homepage. Every donation is tripled, so dig deep with Up North Sports Radio.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, presented by Sarah Ford in Kalkaska in Gaylord. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you this morning. And joining us now is the sports director for TV 7 and 4, Harrison Beebe. Harrison, welcome back to the show, bud.
Guys, yeah, it seems like it's been ages since I've talked football with you. How have you been? What's up with life?
Yeah, things are good. Yeah,
we're old.
Yeah, we got older. That's the only thing that's happened,
Well,
Harrison.
Hey, I got news for you. I've gotten a little older myself.
Wow.
No,
okay.
I see you on TV. You look as youthful as ever.
Yeah, I think that's my curse for life, is I'm going to be really old but look like I'm in high school.
Right. Well, there's good things about that, especially when you
enjoy it, buddy. Enjoy it, man.
Yeah. Well, when the people think I'm in the student section instead of actually covering the game, that's what's the problem. But
you can get into the movies at the under 15 price.
Yeah, exactly.
Go to the bar and get carded.
Sure.
Been able to have a beer at age for over a decade now, but no big deal.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. But, hey, anybody really standing out to you this year after 7 weeks, pretty much in the books now of high school football around the North? Harrison, anyone really jumping off the screen to you that really impressed you?
It's a good pun, jumping off the screen.
Yeah,
Everything I do is on screen.
That's rich.
Let's just start with the most recent team. I went to Petoskey last night to see them take on Marquette. I can only stay for the first half because I had to get back to put everything together, but the Northmen, their offense is unbelievable, and they move really fast, which is and last night, which was a little chilly. I made the mistake of thinking during the day when it was 70s it was going to stay that way. So I wore a short sleeve out there to Northman Stadium, and by the time nighttime hit and the wind, it was pretty chilly. But that Northman offense, they're 20 seconds or less snapping that ball, and they put up 21 points in the first half. Not as many points in the second half. I think the final was 28-23. But that was a crucial game. Marquette was the best team they've played all year, and that's basically a Big North Conference title game by default. And Petoskey, whether it was the home field advantage or whatnot, they showed they were the better team, and they're now 7-0. And, yeah, very impressed. Gaylord's had their runs the past few years in that conference, and now it appears like Petoskey's going to be that team. And in Division III in our area that's going to have a chance to make a real run.
Yeah, that's and that's Marquette came into that game. Of course, we had heard all about them. Jerry and I neither one of us had actually seen them play yet.
Right.
But we had heard from other coaches like how big some of their guys are, how tough they are, all of that. And so we really thought this would be a really interesting matchup, and it sounds like that proved to be true.
Yeah, and Petoskey went up 21-7 with about 45 seconds left in the half, and just to give you some perspective, I thought, you know what, the way Marquette's been moving the ball, they're just going to settle for the half and go into the second half. But they apparently scored right before that halftime clock expired, so it was 21-14 at the break. So that matchup lived up to the hype. You know, I always like when the games of the week are actually good games because that means we pick the right matchups to put focuses on it. Those teams are evenly matched, and you figure with a conference with all those big schools in it, there's going to be two teams that are really, you know, kind of a notch above the others, and that seemed to be the case with those two last night in their meeting.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So good for the Northmen to still stay undefeated. You know, that's they've been building that for a couple of years. The last time I saw him was a few years ago, and they had a young quarterback, and I'm sure that he is a senior now, or if not, if he's been replaced by somebody. But he was not real big, physically imposing, but like you said, super quick, super fast, can run, but also has a pretty good arm as well.
Yeah, that's our guy Corbin Salitis right now. All three of the touchdowns in the first half were his, and he just gets on the ground, and nobody can really stop him. He's got the moves, he's got the physicality, and they've got offensive weapons as well. And they made some great plays on defense. So Petoskey's definitely, I've seen them in the highlights, but seeing them in person was definitely a huge impression maker for me last night.
Yeah, we're very surprised at the score.
Yeah.
Yeah, without seeing the game. By all accounts, we've talked to a couple of coaches that played Marquette, and very big, very physical kids going to D1 programs. Mm-hmm. And Petoskey's obviously the real deal.
Yeah, no, great win for them, and like I said, next month we'll see how they are going forward. But as you guys know, there's a lot of interesting subplots in northern Michigan here for a lot of good teams. You know, Glen Lake, I've seen them play a few times already this season. The one I went to the East Jordan game where it was scoreless at half. That was kind of a surprising result for those two. But then I caught them playing Kalkaska the next week, and that Glen Lake offense was humming that day. So I know the Lakers have had a tough schedule this year, but they seem like one of the better teams in Division 8 in our area. And I haven't yet to see them play, hoping in the next few weeks here before the playoffs, but for sure by the playoffs. McBain's having a great year in the Highland Conference. So
they are
knocking out Steel City. They're that team that finally did that thing that nobody seems to be able to do. So I'm kind of in my mind circling that potential McBain, Traverse City, St. Francis playoff game if we get it.
Yeah, exactly. And they played a pretty tough game last night with Everett as the McBain came out on top, 36-29. So again, sometimes scores can be deceiving, but it appears to be a pretty hard-fought game there.
Yeah, well, and we know Everett's had a couple good seasons here. So, good for them for giving McBain a real contest on the road, too. That game was at McBain. So, if it's an undefeated team that's already beaten Abil City, that's a tough opponent to take on, and it appears Everett was up for the challenge.
Yeah, for sure. And, of course, both of the big schools in Traverse City won last night, with West with a big win over Mount Pleasant, and then Central getting a hard-fought 12-10 win over Bay City.
Yeah, we got less than 2 weeks now till the Patriot game, and I'm not going to crystal ball it so much here, but if results go how people think next week, I feel like we're going to have a playoff spot up for grabs in that Patriot game. It kind of seems like it's going to have the vibe where somebody has the chance to get in and somebody probably won't get in with a loss. So, we'll wait and see how next week shakes out, but it's looking like that Patriot game is going to be a de facto playing game.
Well, that's for sure. The loser is not going to the playoffs. We're starting to look at the math, and even with a win, it might be tough for Central to get in.
It might.
But West for certain is going to have to win out if they're going to the playoffs, and because there's
the new point system.
It doesn't matter if you have 6 wins or not. You've got to have the right points, and a lot of the teams in that division have not lived up to their billing, and so even the wins don't count for a lot of points.
Right. It's been kind of a down year for the second event, and that was evident last night with Mount Pleasant. They've usually been, I think they were the league champion the last 2 years. So for West to put a beating on them, and West is having a great season, but they're not exactly the class of the conference at the moment.
Sure. Who is? Who is the class of that conference?
Right now, it's Midland at 6-1.
Yeah.
That's the good team, and that was the team that we 2-point conversion. We got stopped a yard short of going in for the win. So we were 1 yard away from probably taking top billing.
Knocking off the league champs. Yeah. So, I mean, they're right there. I mean, James Wagner, I've been impressed every time I get to talk to him and pick his brain about football. The guy is not only passionate about what he's doing, but passionate about the kids he's working with.
Yes.
And you can see that in the development now in year 2 with those guys. They are literally getting better every week. And that's, and when you get guys like Drew Esper on the sideline too, that will also help you when you
Drew's
need the clutch point.
That'll make you a good coach in a hurry for sure.
Harrison, you need to grow a mustache like Coach Wagner. That'll age you a little bit because Wagner without that mustache.
I was like, is this a team-related thing or motivating? And he's like, nope, wife liked it, so I decided to keep it. I'm like,
that's
okay.
Facial hair decisions usually made by your spouse.
No doubt about it.
Well. And I know I was joking with you guys about the Tigers before. That's the second best mustache in the state of Michigan, arguably after Jake Rogers.
Jake Rogers, that's right.
Yosemite Sam?
Yeah.
Yes, Jake Rogers. And the best thing about Jake Rogers, Harrison, is that without his catching gear on, he looks nothing like a baseball player.
No, that's why he's my favorite guy of this team because he is. Yeah, you see him walking around town, you think, oh, which donut you get this kid? Right? It's like, no, I'm actually going to play in Game 5 of the ALDS.
Yeah, he doesn't even look like he could come in and fix your plumbing.
Yeah.
If we're playing stereotypes, maybe he'd have problems with that too. But I mean, that's the beauty. I know, Jerry, we were talking about covering the Tigers today. This team is just so everyday lineup. Like it's unbelievable to see, and hopefully, things work out this afternoon. But it's just been fun to watch a team that doesn't seem like they should be there get there.
It is the closest thing. You weren't even born yet, Harrison, but the Miracle Mets, when the Mets came out of nowhere in 1969, they were 8 games back of the Cubs with like 3 weeks to go, and that's only when you won the division, you went to the World Series.
Right.
It's it.
Right.
And they won, 14 of their last 15 games. Cubs had a kind of stumble. But the only person on that team that anybody heard of was Tom Seaver. Right. And he was a young kid like Scooble.
Right.
All these guys that ended up making these clutch hits that are now legends in baseball were nobodies for the Mets, and that's exactly what this Tiger team is. I guarantee you, even you 3 weeks ago didn't know much about Wenzel Perez and Justin Henry Malloy and all these guys. Like Eric, our morning guy, Eric Zane.
Yeah.
Didn't know. He goes, I don't know anybody on the team, but they won again.
Yeah. Well, I remember Malloy. He was called up for Spencer Torkelson when they had Torkelson down. So he's been in the lineup all summer. But you just looked at him as the backup, and then they put Javi Baez down for the year, and they do those trades, and it's like, we're playing for next year. Although it apparently has leaked out that the coaches still implied to the players they were still going to be contending. And I guess if that's true, that message worked to the fans. It was like,
received.
Okay, we're playing for next year.
Well, like you said, don't let the Tigers get hot.
Right.
And today, I'm sure they moved the game around 3 times now. It was supposed to be at 4 o'clock originally. Then they moved it to prime time at 8 o'clock for tonight. Now weather's coming in. They moved it to 1 o'clock. So hopefully that hasn't screwed with Tarek Scooble's head a little bit. But the best thing about this...
He's a gamer. He's ready. And as a fan, I like that. I don't have to wait all day. We get the game in a couple hours here.
Yep, very true, Harrison.
The best thing about Scooble is that he's already pitched 2 games in the playoffs. These guys, I don't think the moment will be too big for the team. When the playoffs started, Veerling was the only one that had any playoff experience, but they all have it now.
They do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They've had it on the road. Yeah. So, I mean, this shouldn't be anything strange. I am a little worried I'm not worried about Scooble at all. I'm sure he'll get his mileage in, no problem. I am just curious to see how these young bats.
Yeah.
Because I was even thinking the other night when they were down, but they had 3 innings left. I'm like, well, this Tiger team, they respond the very next inning, and then they didn't do that, and then it just it added up, and that bases loaded 0 outs scenario is now looming large. Of what could we have done in that inning that we didn't?
Yeah, but Tigers have converted some huge double plays in this playoffs. The one telling stat, and then we'll let you go here, about Skubal. You know, he hasn't given up any runs in the playoffs. We all know that. He hasn't given up more than 1 run since August 2nd in a game that he's pitched.
I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just incredible.
So how much, does that take the pressure off those young bats? They're like, we don't lose when Tarek pitches. We're going to be fine. And he's probably going to go at least 8 today.
Well, and that's the question. Do you even bother, depending on the score, do you plan ahead for the next round, or do you just have him go as deep as he can in this game, knowing it's do or die today? So that'll be that's what A.J. Hinch has paid all the big bucks for.
Yeah.
Well, he's the only guy making any money on this baseball team.
You're right.
These guys need to win playoff games.
They do, yeah.
Yeah,
they want playoff checks.
They're doubling their salary with every playoff win.
Pretty much, yeah. Arbitration is going to be nice to them this off. Do you guys know offhand the top paid player in the lineup?
Well, it's Baez is not in the lineup,
right?
So,
geez, who would it be?
It's got to be Colt Keith.
It is.
Yeah.
Colt
Okay.
Keith at around $2.5 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which looked to be.
And then I think Jake is next at 1.77 or something.
Is that
like
okay?
That.
Yeah. Riley. Well, Green's got to be making close to that.
No, Green. According to the website I was at, Green isn't even $1 million.
Is that
he's
right?
Still a young player.
Well, he's going to get
I
paid.
think Skubal's third, but I think the top 2 are Jake and Colt.
All right, so we've been throwing this theory around, Harrison. Let let us know what your thoughts are. I think that the Tigers should go all in. The $60 million a year is going to take to put
Juan Soto.
Yeah, Juan Soto from the Yankees now you put him in this lineup, and it's just like when they first got things going and Cabrera shows up. So you've got one guy in the lineup that you can never get out.
Right.
That guy is a hit machine. And how much then the Tigers look legit. And I don't know what other hitter is going to be available that is that high of an impact on this roster.
Right. Well, and I guess I kind of wonder, mentally, what does this whole run do to a guy like Baez? He's got at least 1, maybe 2 more years on his contract left. Does he return next year thinking, like, I've got to earn my spot again? Like Trey Sweeney versus Javi Baez? Is this the spring training argument we're having going forward? How is this run going to affect him, knowing he makes by far and away the most money and he's not really chipping into the team?
Well, somebody is going to be there going, Javi, that hip is chronic.
Yeah, exactly.
And, go ahead and take – we're happy to give you your injury insurance payout.
We need to switch MRIs and X-rays with me
your hip.
and Javi Baez and go, look at that thing. 2 artificial hips. The other one needs to be you're done. You got to retire, son.
Yeah, and he has to do a lot to win the fans back over anyways. I was there Wednesday, and they still booed him when he was announced. So
did they
fans
really?
are happy that he's not
my gosh. How did he get announced?
They went through the entire rosters pregame.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Everybody.
I didn't know he was still on the roster. I thought they DFA'd him.
Yeah, he's on.
But he's allowed to be. I think he's allowed to be there. I guess.
Yeah.
Because he was in that whole lineup. So.
Don't let him shake hands with anybody.
Yeah,
I think that's just bad mojo.
Yeah,
you're right.
Keep that bad juju away.
Or, we'll get you a skybox. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You've earned it.
Yeah.
Have all the popcorn and hot dogs you want.
Yeah, that's right. Chicken wings, it'll be good.
All right, Harrison Beebe, Sports Director at 7 and 4. Thanks for joining us on the Scoreboard Show this morning. Let's talk to you again before the season's over, bud.
Yeah, let's do a little playoff preview in a few weeks. How's that sound?
We will definitely do it. Thank you, Harrison.
Thanks, Harrison.
Cool. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too, bud. Yeah, always good to get caught up with Harrison.
Yeah.
It's another great...
He made us do the Tigers talk, folks.
Oh, he did. He kept texting you. What, we're not going to talk
what?
Tigers?
No Tigers?
Come on, we got to talk Tigers no matter what. So that's always great to have. Yeah. But when we come back, we'll talk to head coach of the Kingsley Stags, Tim Woer. We'll have more of the Sarah Ford Scoreboard Show in just a moment.
It's the final month for employee pricing on all Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles at Sarah Kalkaska. Everyone can take advantage of more than $13,000 off MSRP on in-stock 2025 Ram 1500s. Heavy-duty Rams are more than $10,000 off. And you'll get more than $8,500 off Jeep Grand Cherokees. The biggest discounts in years at Sarah Kalkaska. This is your last chance to cash in like an employee at your local Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealer, Sarah Kalkaska. They guarantee it.
It really is the flavor of the season. Oktoberfest at Trout Town in Kalkaska. Choose from chicken schnitzel or a sausage platter. Or choose them both with a combo. Add a Bavarian apple tort for dessert. Then pair it with a limited run of Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Saturdays from 4 till 10. It's a special menu at a special place. Get more at TroutTownTavern.com. Trouttown Tavern and Eatery for up north flavor.
Congratulations to your Detroit Tigers. Catch all this season's Tiger playoff action on your Northern Michigan Tigers affiliate, Blarney Stone Broadcasting's 101.1 WGRY, Up North Sports Radio.
At Roscommon Auto Recyclers, we understand that sinking feeling you get when your check engine light comes on. Your car seems to be running fine, so you try to ignore it. But that light is trying to tell you something is not quite right. Don't panic. It might be a small fix, but if left untreated, could turn into something more serious. Roscommon Auto Recyclers is here to set your mind at ease. ASC certified technicians and affordable prices. Find us in Roscommon at 290 East Federal Highway or online at roscommonautorecyclers.com. Check engine light off.
At H&R Block, they understand you don't think about taxes all year, but they do. They're available year-round to discuss the tax implications of your life-changing events. They also offer business services built for you. Whether you're starting a new business or have an established business, their dedicated account managers are there to help with all your bookkeeping needs. To get started, contact H&R Block of Mayo today, 620 South Morenci Avenue in Mayo, or call 989-826-6521.
Tune into Up North Sports Radio for U of M football. Brought to you in part by Twin Birch Golf Club and Restaurant in Kalkaska. A great place to catch the game. TwinBirchGolf.com. WGRY, Up North Sports Radio.
Celebrate Halloween with Odawa Casino Petoskey at the huge Halloween Bash and Costume Contest, Saturday, October 26th in Victory Sports and Entertainment. Think your costume is the scariest, the sexiest, or the most original? Enter the costume contest to win cold, hard cash. There's even a prize for best group costume. Music, dancing, and fun at the Victory's Halloween Bash, October 26th. Doors open at 8 from Odawa Casino Petoskey and Up North Sports Radio.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Kalkaska Gaylord, also including Jeep Dodge and Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram. Joining us now, Rich Calkins, Jerry Coyne in studio, but joining us on the phone, head coach of the Kingsley Stags, Tim Wooer. And Tim, another big win for Kingsley last night, a big 43-13 romp over Sheboygan.
Yeah, it was a good win. I think Sheboygan is certainly doing some good things. New coaching staff. They've implemented the VEER. Big physical Sheboygan kids, as always. But, it was a homecoming game. You always a little bit worried about those games in terms of focus of your kids, but I thought we played well. And I really think that we're starting to gel. We did not play very well, obviously, against a very good St. Francis team a couple weeks ago, but I think these young kids are starting to grow up and excited to see what we can do here on the back end of our schedule.
Yeah, Coach, are there particular things that you're going to be working on here these last couple of games before the playoffs start? Or are you some things that you don't want to put on film, but yet you'd like to see them execute during stress situations? How do you handle that?
Give us the plan, Coach.
Yeah.
I will not give you the whole plan.
Right, exactly. Always got to leave some surprises.
Yeah.
In today's world of scouting and online video availability, pretty much every coach it doesn't take much work to get every one of your games. So you just assume that everybody's going to see every one of your games. They're going to see your flaws. They're going to see, your trick plays and your screens, and have a thorough evaluation of your personnel. So that element is becoming less and less valuable in terms of being able to keep things in your back pocket. But we will always have something. But I think the biggest thing at this point is trying to continue to have development from your younger kids. In particular, we made a quarterback change about week 2 into 3 with Tucker Dreves, who was a kid that's never played quarterback before. He's always come up in our program as a tight end, but he's a point guard in the basketball team. He's a very savvy, poised young man, and it allowed us to take Cole Snort, who was playing quarterback, and play fullback. And he was our starting fullback a year ago on the state championship team, and has really provided some balance in our backfield, I think. So that combination, has helped us, but there's been some growing pains along that process.
Yeah.
So throughout that process, but I think Tucker just continually grows each week and made some big throws last night. And I thought the St. Francis game, even though it was a difficult loss, he got hit and was poised, and you just really saw a kid grow up in that game, even though it was a very, very tough pill to swallow. But right now it's about continuing to put the pieces together. Unfortunately, it's kind of taken us about 7 weeks to get those pieces in the right place, but I think that we're getting to a place where we want to be.
Well, that's the best thing, right, Coach? Getting into a groove that will propel you, hopefully, to win a number of playoff games. We're assuming that Tucker is Eli's younger brother.
Tucker Dreves. Now you're thinking.
Oh, Dreves. I thought you said Graves. I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, that would be nice. If we had another Graves, he probably wouldn't be playing quarterback. But yeah.
Sorry,
Tucker Dreves. He's a junior. And is just doing a nice job for us. So I agree with what you say in terms of prepping for the playoffs. Your first goal is to win week 1, which we lost a tough one there, obviously, and then the second goal is to win a conference championship. We're on the outside on that one, but your third goal as a program is always to make a deep run into the playoffs. So we know that we'll have the chance to see Reed City at some point, whether that's a district or a regional game. We know that Negaunee is a really good UP school that may be in our district. We know that Boyne City could be an early playoff opponent, and that would be a tough task. But I think that our program and our team is now in a position where we would feel comfortable with any one of those 3 games, and they're all going to be outstanding opponents. Make no mistakes, but I think our kids have really come along, and as I said, our kids are developing. The pieces are starting to fit together, and we're looking forward to that second half of the season.
Coach, you brought up the film scouting, and we've had an interesting discussion with a couple of coaches the last couple of weeks. I want to get your opinion on it. When we were talking to Gladwin a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember who they played, that they were really surprised at the speed of the team. And that's one thing that, a lot of times doesn't come across on film. And some of the coaches are sending, if they can, in-person scouting, because it's certainly different than seeing teams on film.
Well, we had the opportunity to do that with Boyne City, and whenever you can, you want to try to do that now. And when you're talking about a UP opponent like Negaunee,
right,
that's pretty difficult.
Yeah,
sure. And then there's, as you get into the playoffs, and this is kind of still neat about high school sports, is the loyalties of coaches. You know, it's difficult to get film out of the UP, and they're loyal to their people. And that's really neat, and we try to do that within our league as well. To you hope that your people that you've played make a run in the playoffs, and those are people that you compete with on a weekly basis. But you also, when it gets to the playoffs, you want to see those teams do well. So I certainly hope St. Francis can make a run, because that says about something about our opponents and the teams that we lost to, and you hope and wish the best for them. But you want to try and gather as much film as you can. You want to try to see them, if you can, against common opponents, because you know what Grayling's like, you know what Boyne City's like, you know what St. Francis is like. Can you see those opponents against those people, and then you have a better feel for what you're seeing on film.
Yeah. Now, Coach, I don't know if you've thought about this at all, but I was thinking about it on my drive into the studio this morning. You've won a couple of state championships now and things like that. Do you find it more difficult coaching like after a state championship with high expectations, or a team that it's starting basically, if you're coaching and you haven't won a state championship in a few years, but they have a lot of noise around it as far as with high expectations?
Well, I could probably talk about that conversation for about a half hour. But when you've coached so many teams,
right.
You got a feel for how this thing kind of works. But I think one of the most pleasing aspects is taking kids or a program from that doesn't have a history, to making them competitive, and that's a fun process to watch.
Sure.
But I think taking that next step from good to great is probably one of the biggest steps. Mm-hmm. And then probably the most difficult is keeping that status and not becoming complacent. So just to speak about this year, after you win a state championship, I can guarantee you, and I, after 33 years of coaching, underestimated the bullseye that you have, and the Super Bowl on everybody's schedule, and how difficult that is.
Right.
And we talked about that even in 7-on-7s, how teams were tuned up to the Play Kings because they're the defending state champions, and you come into a game where you think that, okay, this is going to be a good game, good program, and you walk onto the field and you're getting looks like, okay, this is a battle, and this is going to be a fight.
Yeah.
You better tie up those shoelaces tight and strap up that helmet, because they're coming after you, and it's a difficult thing. I underestimated that aspect, but it's made our team better this year. I think there is that. The other thing that's unique about this team is that there's that passing of the torch and the leadership, and you got a group of seniors that the 2023 team was so outstanding from a leadership standpoint that these now seniors, they were outstanding players and teammates, but it has taken them a little while to adjust to the leadership role. And it, like I said, I think now week 7 we're really starting to gel. But all those things, like I said, I could talk for a half hour about the steps you take and you see out of players, and the difficulties of the history that you have. But make a long story short, I would much rather be in a program that has that on your side, and I think you can lean on that, the tradition and the banners that are up on your field and all that kind of stuff. But it comes with its difficulties as well.
Yeah, no doubt. But like you said, different kinds of issues, but good issues to kind of have to deal with, Coach.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's how you build a culture, right, Coach? Then every year your juniors are passed the torch from the seniors, and they don't want to let anybody down, and that's how you develop a winning program. Is it's more important that you're playing for Kingsley and not necessarily just playing football.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that are unique about Kingsley, our community. Last night, I told our kids, it's 45 minutes before game time. It's homecoming. But I pulled our kids together and I said, hey, just take a second to look around. We got a tailgate, and, Rhodes Field is a very intimate setting. The fans are right on top of the game, and they got their lawn chairs, and it had a vibe of playoff time. And our community just loves our football program.
Yeah, they do.
And, this is also the time where you start bringing some sophomores and freshmen into the mix. And I think that's all about what you touched on with the tradition and giving them a taste, letting the younger kids see how the seniors act. But, in terms of the tradition, it's not Tim Moore or our coaching staff. It's the kids and their love and their feeling of their time, their responsibility to carry on what the kids have before them. And they've done an outstanding job, and this group is no different.
Yep. Well, Tim Moore of the Kingsley Stags, thanks for sharing some of your thoughts with us today. Best of luck next week against Kalkaska, and we'll certainly talk to you later on in the season, if not during the playoff run, Coach.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Go Stags.
All right, go Stags.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, defending state champ Kingsley Stags.
Yeah, I like Coach. He's very thoughtful.
Very.
I used to think it was measured, but I don't think it is. I really think that, not that he's going to retire this year or anything else, but he's now, on the end of his career for sure.
Yeah, you take more of a perspective of things for sure.
And, when he was saying some of that, I was thinking about Alpha Casa for a second at Brother Rice, and these guys have seen it all. And, each team is different. There's no doubt. But when you have a culture of you're going to get the best out of those kids, and they do things a certain way. Like I know that these kids aren't probably wearing ties, but our football team always wore ties. And then the ties were always knotted the same way. Everybody on the team, right?
Yeah.
So it's just
wore the double Windsor and
just like when I was at UCLA, you tie your shoelaces. There's a way that John Wooden taught his players to tie their shoelaces, and that's how you do it.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so that is the way it is, and that's why they have great programs. Okay. When we come back, Eric Sugars from Traverse City Central coming off a big 12-10 win. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford, Kalkaska, and Gaylord.
The Traverse City Record Eagle supports WCMU Public Radio in Traverse City with Total Access Record Eagle subscriptions. Total Access means home delivery of the printed paper, plus on-demand access to local and breaking news and other community publications online or on the app. Find out more at record-eagle.com/subscriptions or call 231-946-2187. That's 231-946-2187. The Traverse City Record Eagle proudly serves 13 counties in northwestern Lower Michigan.
It's the final month for employee pricing on all Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles at Sarah Kalkaska. Everyone can take advantage of more than $13,000 off MSRP on in-stock 2025 Ram 1500s. Heavy-duty Rams are more than $10,000 off. And you'll get more than $8,500 off Jeep Grand Cherokees. The biggest discounts in years at Sarah Kalkaska. This is your last chance to cash in like an employee at your local Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealer, Sarah Kalkaska. They guarantee it.
You asked for it. We delivered.
Yeah.
Friday, November 15th, Collective Soul returns to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. The 30th anniversary tour with special guest Hinder. Tickets for Collective Soul start at $39 and are on sale now at the box office and online at etix.com. Collective Soul and Hinder. Friday, November 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Get ready to party at the Alley at Crave in downtown Gaylord. Here's a quaint, casual place that's perfect for holiday parties, business meetings, wedding events, school functions, family get-togethers, or just a meeting of your favorite friends. Serve up amazing Neapolitan pizza, pasta dishes, your favorite beverages, and you have all the makings of a fun time. Check out the Alley at Crave. Get more at cravegaylord.com. Crave, or Up North flavor.
We tend to think about taxes only in April, but what if you have a tax question in the other 11 months? Turn to the experts at H&R Block of Mayo. They're open all year round, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. Whether or not you filed an extension, it's not too late for H&R Block of Mayo to help you get the biggest refund possible. Visit hrblock.com to get started today. All tax situations are different. Not everyone gets a refund. Limitations apply. See hrblock.com/guarantees.
Hey, it's Anthony Bellino from Spin on Sports, Michigan Sports Dog Morning Show on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 right here on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY. Whether it's Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Lions, Michigan State, the Big Ten, the Mid-American Conference, all the headlines, all the stories, and always Michigan teams first. It's all right here on Spin on Sports, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard locally on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, presented by Sarah Ford in Kalkaska and Gaylord. Rich Calkins, Jerry Coyne in studio with you. And joining us now is head coach of Traverse City Central Trojans, Eric Shiggers. And Coach, a big 12-10 win last night, a much-needed one against Bay City Western.
Yeah, Rich, it was. Like I told our kids after the game, we found a way to win. You know, sometimes you win ugly, and, you know, it doesn't matter how you get it done. You just get it done, especially on the road. And, you know, playing at Bay City Western is sometimes a tough place to play, and our kids responded, and I'm proud of them for doing that.
Yeah, out there in the cornfields, Coach. I know all about it there. It's a very unique setting, very rural. But like you said, they bring a physical brand of football.
Yeah, they do, and you know, it's a credit to them, and you know, it's the style of football they bring, and you got to match that. And early on, they took it to us. You know, they scored on their first drive right away, and you know, they were up 10-0 before we responded. And sometimes, you know, it takes a little wake-up call for our guys, and luckily we responded and were able to get two scores in the second quarter there to go up at half, and unfortunately we didn't score anymore. Neither did they, though. So
yeah,
that was enough to get the win, and blocking a field goal at the end, that's exciting. You know, it goes down to the wire like that, and you know, it's fun for our kids, in a jolt of energy and a shot in the arm. You know, at the end of the season here, it's a good thing.
Yeah, Coach, we did not know any details of that. No access to the Record Beagle this morning. But, so, yeah, tell us about that. So they drove down the field and were trying to kick the winning field goal?
Yeah, it was one of those end of the fourth quarter. We drive. We're inside the 10. We have a chance to go ahead, touchdown, and punch it in, kick the extra point. You're up 9 points, and all of a sudden we get stopped. You know, we get stopped, and then they drove the entire field.
Wow.
So they drove the field on us. Great drive by them, and you know, and then they attempted a field goal with less than 10 seconds, and you know, we blocked it. It came off the edge, and defense coordinator Todd Tester did a great job setting the kids up in position, and they made the play. And at the end of the day, the kids make the play, and that's what you're proud of, you know.
Yeah, there's so many. That's what's so cool about it. You know, you look at the score, and it doesn't tell the whole story. There's so many storylines that go on in each and every game, and obviously a very unique one there with the Trojans coming out with that huge win.
Yeah, it's much needed. Like I said, this time of year, and you know, we're inching back toward 500, and we head to Bay City again next week to take on Bay City Central, and then you know what happens the last week of the season. So. You know, we're not worried about that one yet, but we got to hopefully get the same result going to Bay City next week and have a good week of practice and try to finish strong here.
Yeah, and you go, like you said, 2 different total environments for the 2 Bay City schools there as you head to the old school cement stadium with cement things all around the perimeter of the field.
Yeah, it's tight quarters there.
It is.
It's a great, it's a great, cool city field. It's one of those, old relics there. But yeah, it is tight quarters, man. But it's a fun place to play, and that's something your kids look forward to and say, hey, have a little fun.
Yeah.
That's what high school football is about, and go compete, and road trip with your buddies, and something you don't forget about.
Yeah, and like you said, Coach, not the history of the football games that have been played there for what seems like 100 years, but then also in the 70s, some of the huge rock concerts that place is, it had big time bands in there back in the day. So it's been a very, very cool setting.
Yeah, it is, and that's our kids know about Thurlby Field, and it's funny when you go anywhere, we're in Bay City and the refs are talking about Thurlby Field, the history there. So it's just it makes you feel grateful to where we get to play, where we're at here, but also for our kids to go play in those environments too. It's a great experience.
Well, the best memories really, Coach, are those bus rides to and from the games, especially when you're taking a little bit of a bus ride back with a big win. There's just pure exuberance in the air on the bus, and everybody's got a smile on their face. No matter who did what in the game, everybody's a winner, and that's the best part about high school football.
It is, and it's fun. And I tell you what, we had a 45-minute lightning delay at the beginning of that. So you kind of you get all geared up to play, then all of a sudden you got to go sit and wait. And it's one of those, like, we're sitting in their weight room and just waiting for the game, and kind of fire up the kids, but also trying to figure out when are we going to play this thing.
Yeah.
So, that delay kind of helped them, not us, but we responded when we needed to and made one more play than them at the end, and that's what it takes sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Coach. Great win last night. Again, best of luck against Bay City Central. And then obviously, a couple of weeks, like you said, Coach, we got the big Patriot game looming, but we'll take care of that when it comes up.
You bet. Thanks, guys, and appreciate what you do for high school sports. And as always, go Trojans.
All right, go Trojans. Best of luck, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, Eric, obviously very excited. It makes going to school on Monday morning so much more fun, too, JC.
Yeah, there's a lot of different aspects to winning and losing at any level, and good for them. Like we said, they needed that win. They're going to need to win out, and then see what happens.
And it's so funny what winning does. It's like those bumps and bruises when you lose a hard-fought game. They hurt just a little more.
They do.
And then, but on a big win, you're like, what are you talking about? What bumps and bruises? I'm good. So, yeah, it's kind of funny how
Rub some dirt on it.
Yep, that's exactly right. So, big day here at this station.
Yeah, so wanted to go over, as we mentioned with Harrison Beebe, the Tigers game has been moved again. It was going to be played at 8 o'clock tonight, and because there's weather coming into Cleveland, they have moved it back to a 1 o'clock first pitch. So the pregame will be on here at Up North Sports Radio, I think at like 12:40. You want to tune in for that because the A.J. Hinch show is beautiful. And then you got Tarek Skubal going against the Guardians in a winner-take-all game. So very, very exciting. And a lot of people may have changed their plans around to see the Tigers.
Yeah.
Now you know that you can get them on the radio if you've got some yard work or anything else you can do right here. And then, but because the Wings game or the Tigers game was moved, Rich, the Wings will now be back on the radio. 7:30.
Okay.
So,
Yep. So no conflict there.
No conflict there. You can get your Red Wings action. I know it's really a pain in the butt to get the Red Wings on TV. So we have a lot of loyal listeners. And they've got their second game of the year tonight versus the Nashville Predators.
Yeah, and that's a good listen with Ken Cal and
Ken
Paul
Cal
Woods.
and our buddy Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, thanks for joining us, JC, and I will be back next week with the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show brought to you by Sarah Ford in Kalkaska and Gaylord.
This has been the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show, presented by Sarah Ford of Kalkaska and Gaylord for stress-free car shopping. Join us next Saturday at 10 with host Rich Calkins. Nobody loves high school sports like Up North Sports Radio.
It really has been downhill. Since losing in that playoff game after the Chargers, it has been downhill for them. I would not be surprised if Doug Peterson is the next coach fired. The only thing for them, saving grace, would be that division, including the Texans, who haven't played as well. That division still has some opportunities for old Doug.